Little India is an organization called the Society of the Youth for the Artistic Music Appreciation. It started in the year 2000 by a group of young artists. It soon grew to become a non-profit organization. Now, its main vision is to ensure that future generations of Singaporeans can carry on the tradition and culture of Indian classical music and dance. We spent a day with them. Little India is one of the most colourful areas in Singapore. The streets are filled with sights and sounds of the different cultures of the Indian regions. Madhavan is a 27-year-old psychology student who was trying to find a way to pursue his love for classical Indian music.
This entire stretch of Little India is actually concentrated of different two communities, the South Indian and the North Indian. So here, the things that you smell, you hear, they're very much influenced by the South Indian stuff. But down the road, it's actually more of the North Indian, more of a Bollywood style. But over here, it's actually the Kollywood, the Carnatic, Hindu religious songs. When I was growing up, going to the temple with my family, my parents, and then attending wedding functions, I'm always intrigued by this beautiful sound, and I realized it was actually Carnatic music that I was drawn to. So therefore, I started going SYAMA, started learning Carnatic music. As you hear, it just gives you goosebumps. So that's the reason why I started learning music.
SYAMA was formed in August 2000 as an informal group of young and upcoming Singaporean artists to develop their skill and talents in Carnatic music. Indian classical music is believed to be a divine art form which originated from the Hindu gods and goddesses.
So Carnatic music is the most ancient form of traditional Indian music. Together with the Hindustani music, which is played in the north, Carnatic music is played more in the south. And the Carnatic music concert typically is either a vocal music concert or an instrumental concert. So the vocal music concert typically uses syllables or songs. For example, Nida ma pa magama gariga sari ma pa. This is a song, and the same thing can be played as an instrumental concert.
SYAMA started as a group of young musicians who are passionate about Carnatic music. They started off with regular meetings and practices around Little India.
SYAMA was formed in 2004, where we set up a society to cater to the requirement of performance opportunities for youngsters. We used a lot of spaces like in temples or in void decks, in corners of buildings where they would allow us to do some practice. And we got an official space as to our address in the Racecourse Road area with about a 500 square feet space.
SYAMA now occupy a large academy in Serangoon Road, and they have 6 teachers who specialize in teaching music by the Trinity of Carnatic Music, Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dishita, and Sharma Sastry. The Trinity are credited for bringing the genre back to the mainstream with their distinct style and originality in the handling ragas. Carl Ravin is a 26-year-old entertainer who lives in Racecourse Road. He used to play the tabla when he was a child and decided to pick it up again. After an online search, he found out there's a school right at his doorstep.
I used to play the tabla when I was in secondary school. I stopped for a couple of years, but through the years of performing as an artist, and I thought it'll only be appropriate for me to follow my roots and to understand a little bit more about Indian culture through music.
The tabla is a percussion instrument which is often used in traditional Indian music. Tabla playing is a mathematically calculated process.
I will show you. See, this tabla also speaks. It has its own language. We say, suppose ta, you will hear ta. Okay. We say tin, you will hear tin. So te, re, ke, te, ta, ta. Good.
The veena is another key instrument used in Carnatic music, and you may have seen the veena on the back of a $50 banknote. Madhavan has been learning the veena for around 13 years.
I started as in an orchestra format. So orchestra, you play in a group. It's a very different technique. It's just recently, let's say about 6-7 years, I've started learning a proper Carnatic music from a proper teacher, learning the proper techniques. I believe music doesn't have any language barrier or, race barrier or anything. You should be able to encompass a Carnatic sense of music.
SYAMA started with just small monthly concerts by novice young musicians. That tradition still remains till today.
This week we have a performance today by our youth wing. The newly formed youth wing is basically a set of musicians, upcoming artists.
Today is the inaugural performance by a group of youngsters from the newly formed Association of Young Musicians. It's made up of young musicians of various schools and clubs collaborating together to perform. SYAMA started as a small community of traditional Indian music lovers at Little India. It has grown through the years as a movement for Carnatic music. From its humble beginnings at the corners of Little India to a multi-faculty music academy, SYAMA has been an integral part of local traditional Indian music.
I'm very happy about the progress we have made. Looking at the future, I feel very positive in the sense like our plans are to take traditional Indian classical music to people who do not know Carnatic music.